Me, myself, and I. It's me, myself, and I. Me, myself, and I. It's me, myself, and I.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, kids of all ages, it's time for your weekly Fix of Funny. Broadcasting on radio in Fort Bragg, 107.7 FM, KNYO. Grab a mimosa, take your pants off, and treat yourself to the sexy bald man who makes you tingle in your special place. I was talking about your heart. He's wrong, but he's so right. He's brilliant, he's insightful, but also at times he's got the intelligence of a cup of dirt. Here we go, it's the Me, Myself, and I show, starring Mike Betancourt!
Boom! Hello, 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 hello! We are live. Welcome to another exciting episode of Me, Mikeself, and I. I am your host, Mike Betancourt. This is episode 109, and we're streaming right now. Yay! Yes! You can see that I kind of have hair, and you can see my shirt, and you can see my name, and you can see my logo, and you can see it's all around me. Yay! Feels good. Feels good to stream right now. This is cool. I want to also say thank you for everyone that watched last week's stream. It was a disaster because I didn't have high-speed internet. And I had two amazing guys on the show. I had Joey Mitchell, 50 years in radio. And then I had Chicago Steve Barkley, 40 years in stand-up. And I had slow internet. So if you want to go see and make fun of my last episode, go check it out on YouTube. And poor Joey and Steve, they had some amazing stuff. They're like, hey, Mike, I got to say something really, really poignant for you, for your podcast. So if you want to see that disaster, go check out my YouTube page. But today, on this show, right here, right now, with high-speed internet, you got Mr. Gavin from the Wake Up Call is going to be on the show. He's actually on the show right now. He's chilling in the green room. He's got water. He's got M&Ms. He's waiting, and I can't believe it. I'm so thankful that he's here. So how's everybody doing? I hope you're all well. I know times are crazy right now. I get it. Times are nuts. But Monday was my birthday. And I wanted to celebrate the day after my birthday yesterday, but I did the whole Blackout Tuesday for solidarity for Black Lives Matter because that's more important. And I got flack for that. Can you believe that? That I got flack for supporting Black Lives Matter with a black box and be like, this is the dumbest thing you can possibly do, Mike. Why can't you just go out and call and blah, blah? Relax. I'm going to vote. Okay? That's number one. I'm going to vote. And I just checked this out. Look at this. I don't know if you guys know about this, but there's breaking news. I know. In 2020, that's the theme of 2020 is called breaking news. If you want to describe what 2020 is all about, it's called breaking news. But this is good breaking news because all 4 former officers that were involved in the George Floyd killing are now facing charges. We haven't won anything, but that feels good because there was nothing more sickening than what was worse was that knee on the neck, but all 4 of them didn't do anything. And that was disgusting. And just to know that all 4 of them are going to get locked up, get charged, and get thrown into jail, get manslaughter, and hopefully get raped in prison and stabbed. That's what I'm hoping for. But I don't know why would they even have a trial? That's my question. Why would there? I know everyone has a right to have a trial. I get that. But why would these gentlemen, when the evidence is clearly, it shows right in front of them what they did? You know, who is the idiot lawyer that's going to defend them? I would like to know that because I don't know. What's his defense going to be? Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, my client was accused that he was trying to kill George Floyd for 9 minutes. It was actually 8.5 minutes. So, I mean, what are you going to say? What are you going to do? I hope you're. Well, I don't know. You're a terrible human being if you defend these guys. So good luck, anyways. But today is and everyone's looting and rioting, and you know what? I get it. Okay, I get it. You're angry. You saw a defenseless man get killed right in front of our eyes. How could you not be angry? Okay, but do me a favor. If you're gonna riot and loot, do it to the big corporations. Like how come no one has riot or looted towards Monsanto or Walmart or Wall Street? Don't go for the small businesses, man, please, because people work hard during that, and they don't deserve small businesses to be crushed. Because this podcast, I do my best to do what I can to support small businesses. And when I see someone looting small businesses, it hurts me as well, because I'm doing my best to support small businesses and performing artists and make sure they get their name out, and make sure, because during the pandemic, they're losing money and the doors just open and people are rioting towards them. So if you're going to loot, do it towards Monsanto or the big corporations. But enough about that. Let's have some fun, because speaking of small businesses, every single week here on Myself and I podcast, I always introduce all the small businesses that I like to help out. And how do I help out? Is I make my own personal Mikeself commercials for small businesses. And this week goes to Cali Soul. Cali Soul. I met Cali Soul at Wolf Fest. That was a big, huge dog gathering in Rockland when I was working for 101.5 K hits. And I met this guy. I needed a hat, and this hat that I wore, I was like, wow, this is comfortable. And I met the owner, and him and his wife run this really cool small business. It's a clothing brand. It's a surf shop. It's very chill, relaxed. And I said, hey, let me make this commercial for you. Let me make it for you for free, so you can help out, and hopefully this will help you with your small businesses. So let's take a little quick Mikeself break. You guys check out this wonderful Mikeself for Cali Soul. Let me know what you think. Here we go. Bowabunga, bro. The name is Bentley, but my friends call me Boodog. Yeah. Check this out. I'm the mascot to a righteous clothing brand, Cali Soul. Dude, every Cali Soul design is inspired by real experiences, real people, real places, and the stories that never gets old. Yeah. The foundation of Cali Soul is family, bruh. I mean, that's why I'm their mascot, because I'm their dog. Bowabunga. You gotta check them out. They've got shirts, tank tops, hoodies, stickers, and some killer dog gear. Yeah. Cali Soul. Live, love, play. All day, every day. Wolf, yeah. There you go. Cali Soul. You got your free commercial right here on Myself and I podcast. Check out this. Look at their gear. This is Cali Soul. And look at that. Look at that hat. I'm not a hat guy. Okay. But this makes me look like Tom Selleck from Miami Vice. I got my Hawaiian shirt. I got my hat, bruh. It's comfy. Look at that. It's comfy. Look at that. It's now I look like an old dad, but it's okay. Because when I look like an old dad, this is how it looks. Okay, I'm done. But anyways, support Cali Soul. Make sure you purchase their gear. They have amazing stuff. All the links and stuff will be there. I can't wait. They're wonderful people, and now they got a free commercial. So sorry, I kind of sounded like Donald Trump there. They're wonderful people, and blah, blah. Sorry. Did you guys see Donald Trump holding the Bible? Oh my God, isn't that terrible? You see how he did it? I brought this. This is my holy Bible, but usually when you hold the Bible, you hold it like this. Oh. Love your fellow man. Okay. This is how he did. See how he did. He's like, I think, I don't know. What am I doing? Is there re-election in this Bible? I don't know. Anyways, so don't be that like Donald Trump. This is what I'm trying to say. Anyways, someone that is not like Donald Trump, someone that is better is on the show. And I'm very, very excited to have him on the show. He's a wonderful human being. And I'm ready to introduce you, ladies and gentlemen, all the way from the Wake Up Call 106.5. Gavin from the Wake Up Call is here. Gavin. Hello.
What's up? How are you?
Yes, you're live, sir. Here.
That's wonderful.
How you doing? Are you in your garage or?
I am. Yeah, I call this my blanket fort. And what's funny is that my kids are taking a nap right now. And I actually have the baby monitor right here. So everybody thinks that I'm not a good father. And my wife left. She had to go. She's a teacher. So she had to go to school and handle something. So she took the car to leave. And I don't think she realized what she was doing, but she turned the lights off in the garage. So when we're done and I turn my little desk lamp off, I got to feel my way out of here, back to the door.
Well, good luck to you, my friend, because that and it's hot. I'm sure it's really hot in there too.
It is.
you're boiling. You're like, it's like Indiana Jones trying to find your way out. Dun, 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 dun.
Exactly.
Dad, where's my dad?
And there might be some snakes. I'm sure there are some snakes.
There's snakes, and hopefully there's no Nazis
right
in there. Well, Gavin, thank you so much for being on the show. I really appreciate it. The only reason why Gavin is actually on this show is because a mutual friend of ours, Mr. Mike Mechanic, introduced us a couple years ago. But this is like a couple years ago. But we met on email and stuff, and we were always chatting back and forth. But now we have you on the show right now, thanks to Mr. Mike Mechanic. I'm sure you're like, I don't know Mike Betancourt. I'm not talking to him. But if it wasn't for Mike Mechanic, it's because of you. So thank you, sir.
I mean, Mike Mechanic is a wonderful human being. So any friend of Mike's is a friend of mine.
And that's why you're on the Mikeself and I show. So, and I don't want to use your last name. You're just Gavin from the Wake Up Call. Can we
usually I am. It depends. It's real easy to find my last name. My wife and I have a charity that we run, and for legal IRS purposes, you have to include your last name for all that stuff. It's pretty hard to get a 503c license to be tax exempt with just a first name. For the most part, we like to assume that all of us are. Just Wake Up Call is our last name.
That's it. The Wake Up Call.
Usually, yeah.
You'd be called last if it was alphabetical order. Listen, Wake Up Call. Are you here? We're here.
Exactly.
That's awesome. So let's just start. How'd you like I said last week? I had Mr. Joey Mitchell on the show, and it was amazing. I don't know if you know Joey. Do you know Joey?
No, I know the name.
Okay.
I've never met him though.
50 years in radio, and just broke down radio and how he got in and stuff. And it was just amazing. I'm always in awe with radio guys. I know a lot of people don't give radio a lot of respect, but man, you guys work so damn hard, like every single second of the day, what you're doing. So why don't you tell us how you got started in radio?
Yeah, it's actually funny that you say that, because I always thought that radio gets such a bad rap too. And I know that like in the 80s and 90s, it was pretty cliche morning radio, but morning radio doesn't sound anything like what is mocked on like any sitcom or Family Guy or movie. Like whenever you show a morning radio person now, they're two guys that look exactly the same, and they have real pukey voices, which means like they're like, oh, hey, how you doing? And they're like,
we're live here.
Exactly. Yeah, we got the Friday morning fart song, and there's sound
Friday
effects.
Morning fart.
And I don't know anybody in radio who still does that or ever did in their career. Like, but anyway, though, it really not that I came on here to defend all morning radio people, but it is really hard. I mean, you're on air coming up with what is essentially 4.5, 5 hours of content, live content every single day, 5 days a week.
Wow.
You know, like late night talk show hosts don't even have to come up with that much content.
And they have writers. You guys don't
and
have
they
writers.
have writers. We don't
Yeah.
have any writers. You know, the bigger the morning show is, they do get writers, you know, but yeah, anyway, that's if the technology of radio were to come out today, it would be the greatest thing ever. And people wouldn't be able to stop talking about how it's free, and how it's for the masses, and it's easily consumed and anybody can get it. But the fact that it was invented, you know, 100 years ago,
Right.
People can't wait for the downfall of radio, which has survived quite a few things. And
I've heard
I'm
it a
sure
long time, even before podcasts were around. Everyone used to always say radio is dead. Radio is a dying art. Radio is
Right.
dead. But you know, you turn on your car, radio's right there. All the
we're
time.
not only that, but we're on smart speakers too. I mean, you can hear us on Alexas, and I mean, we're the cockroach of entertainment. So.
Kind of like stand-up comedy, almost.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
We're about the same. We're about the
Yeah.
same. I like that. The cockroaches of entertainment is radio.
But I got off on a tangent there. How did I get in radio is way different than how like 95% of people in radio got into it. Most people in radio, they knew from like the time they were 10 years old, I want to be in radio. Like my co-host Rain, that was his trajectory. He knew at like 12 years old, he wanted to be in radio, and he got a job when he was like 13 or 14 working for his local radio station, and he never deviated from that. And that was never my thought as a kid. I always wanted to be just a writer. I just wanted to write. I wanted to write books, and I wanted to write screenplays. And I went through a period of time getting close to college, and then in college, where I thought the easiest way to do that and still make a living was to become a teacher. Because that was back when I thought like, well, teachers have all this downtime. Of course I'd be able to write. So when I was in college, I tried double majoring in film and English. And the plan was that I was going to be an English teacher and write screenplays in all my free time. And not only did those two things not pan out, but I never even graduated college. So I ran out of money because I was a stupid idiot. And despite the warnings from people that said, just go to community college for 2 years and then go to state school for 2 years, I said, nope, I'm going to go to a private art school in New York City. I'm going to live the dream. I got seduced by Manhattan. And despite neither of my parents paying for my college, I thought that was a good idea. And it wasn't. How
long were you in New York?
I lasted 3 years.
Wow.
And that was when I ran out of money. And then the plan was I was going to come home and work a bunch of jobs. I always like to say, like, when I came home from college, I became a job collector. And I had, at one point, the most jobs that I ever had at one time was 3. And the plan was to save enough money to get back to finish the last year of college. And I never did, because one of the jobs that I had was working for a radio station cluster in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, which was close to where I grew up, which was Hershey, Pennsylvania. And I started off doing promotional work.
Okay.
I was actually in a play, and somebody in the play did a weekend shift at the radio station and said, oh, they're looking to hire somebody for promotions right now. You'd be great at it. And I was like, yeah, I'll take any job that I can right now. Right. And I applied, and it's cliche to say that one thing led to another, but it literally one thing led to another. And I tell people, like, whenever anybody is interested in radio and they are interviewing me or asking me, like, how did you do it? I always say that my path was very avant-garde. It was very unstereotypical of how most people get into radio. However, the ripple effect of what I did is the same, and it's just punching along, never giving up, and you never know where you have a foot in the door.
Right.
Some people like to think that, you go in, you kick a door down, or they have a very distinct path, and I didn't. I had feet in different doors, and I didn't even know it. And
How long from? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
How long were you in promotions until you got your on-air gig?
So I did that for about a year and a half to 2 years.
Okay.
And just by going around to different places, I got to know everybody on staff. There were 5 or 6 different radio stations in the building. I knew everybody on all the staffs, and got along with everybody. And it was just because, it's very simple. You show up early, you're professional, and you're nice. And that's it.
That goes a long ways. Being nice.
It really goes a long way. And it's sad that just those 3 things are so easily guiding people to success. And that's it. It's 3 things that you're capable of doing. And by doing that, one day on the top 40 station, there was a morning show that was syndicated, and it was not working. And the guy who was the program director, he was a good talent, but wasn't very good at being a program director. So the general manager demoted him, but didn't fire him, and said, listen, you're no longer in charge of this radio station. We're going to get somebody who can do that better. But we like you, and we think you're good, and we want you to do a morning radio show, which he had never done before. So he kind of found the formula, which is 2 guys and a girl, and he was the main host, and he found a girl who was in sales at the time, and he found me from promotions just because he knew me, and he knew that I was a funny guy, and he knew that I could talk endlessly if nobody shuts me up. And all of that is important when it comes to radio.
That's such an art form. Just
it
to
is.
Talk and just to keep talking and just to keep going the whole time.
I always tell people, try to talk for 1 minute, uninterrupted for 1 minute. It's not easy. And I don't know how guys who do podcasts exclusively by themselves do it, where they're talking for 60 minutes. Like I'm always amazed by that. But anyway, though, literally,
thank you. I used to do that. Now I'm interviewing you. But before this, I used to do it all by myself. But thank you, sir.
I mean, it is a true talent to monologue that long. But anyway, though, one thing led to another, literally, and we got offered a job to come out here after that tragic event, which most people have forgotten about, where the listener died after drinking the water.
That was your station.
That was 107.9.
I did hear that. I was listening to that. Wow. Okay.
And that morning show got fired, and everybody got fired actually. And they
for a wee or something like that.
Yeah, it was something like that.
Yeah.
And they hired a brand new morning show, which was us, and because they were looking for somebody, a show that never mocked the listeners the way that show did, the way that a lot of shows did at the time, where you did contests like that made listeners do stupid things or were the brunt of the joke. And I never liked that. I like to do a brand of morning show and comedy where I am the brunt of the joke.
Right. You don't want to you don't want to belittle the people that are paying your paychecks.
Right.
The ones that are writing your pictures is the listeners and the people.
I try really hard not to. Really hard not to. Sometimes they need it though.
Yeah. What was your worst listener that pissed you off?
I don't even know how to pick one, but I mean, there are certainly times where some listeners, and it's always on social media. Always on social media.
Nothing live. They're all your best friend live.
Of course.
When it comes to social media, they talk smack.
And just keyboard warriors and keyboard tough guys. And there was one guy that routinely pushed my buttons on social media. And I don't know where this guy is anymore, but
we can look him up. We're here. We can share it and we can find him.
I do not remember his name. I don't even remember his screen name, like on Instagram or anything like that. But one day though, I was out at an appearance in Folsom and he showed up. I guess he lived in Folsom. And we had like the best conversation, like in person. And I don't even know why he showed up, but he basically, through our conversations, we ended up apologizing for things that we said to each other. And it was beautiful. It was a really nice moment.
That's good. That's good. So what do you think your worst time on air was, where everything just fell apart and you went, did you ever lose your cool?
I've lost my cool several times.
Really?
I
can't see that. I can't see you.
There have been times where I've yelled at listeners. There have been times where as soon as the break is over, I'm so hot and heated that I just got to slam my headphones down and leave the room for a while. But one of the most embarrassing moments of my professional career was it was the first time I've been blessed enough to have interviewed and met lots of my childhood heroes and people that I admire. One of them is Weird Al Yankovic.
Nice.
And I've met him 2 or 3 times, and I've actually gotten to interview him twice. And this was the very first time that I interviewed him. And it was we were having a great conversation, just a really fun and funny conversation. And in my defense, I did not know I was going to interview him. They sprung it on me, but as a surprise. But it was less than a year after his parents died. I'm not sure if anybody knows about this, but Weird Al's parents tragically both died the same day in a carbon monoxide accident.
Oh my God.
It's a terrible, terrible story. So I'm interviewing Weird Al, and we're having a great time, and we're laughing, and we have to wrap up the interview. And I don't know why, but in my head, I had this thought that was like, you're never going to get to talk to him again. And when I read that story about his parents, I legitimately felt it. It wasn't just like a celebrity death that you read about on TMZ. I legitimately emotionally felt it. I couldn't imagine what it would be like to lose both of my parents at the same time.
Right.
And I had this thought that was just like, just tell Al how you feel and that you're sorry about it. And I meant well by it, but it was like we were riding this high, and then I go, Al, one more thing before you go. And then I bring up the death of his parents, and it was just a crash. It was the worst way to end an interview. You can't even imagine how bad it was.
The way you just said that too, you're like, "Hey Al, before we go,"
and he was like, "Yeah."
How about you're dumb? How about your parents dying?
Yeah.
Oh my God, what did he do? Did he go with the whole thing, or did he?
He is the nicest person in the world, so he was gracious about it, and he was very grateful that I even brought it up, and but of course he got very sad. He got hella sad and depressed about it. Of course he did. It was just a bummer of a way to end an interview.
But you weren't doing it intentionally to hurt his feelings, though. So I'm sure he understood that.
I hope he understood that.
It wasn't like you mocking him because like, hey, by the way, we're at Yankovic. We're here with how about talk about your dead parents? Go ahead, next.
Yeah,
you didn't do any of that.
It couldn't have been intended to be more of an earnest thing.
Oh,
yeah.
And he was just cool about not cool, but he was sad and
he rolled with it. I mean, he rolled with it, but it was just a terrible way to end an interview with like a goofball,
he's like, I'm gonna go this way now.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Wow, what a trooper. And that was live.
Oh, that was live.
Wow. I've had my live moments on radio and stuff, and live moments on for stand-up, but nothing like that, man. That's a good learning lesson for everybody.
Yeah.
Mention
Oh yeah. Don't mention dead parents.
Or do it at the beginning and then save it. Leave it on high. Hey, we're here with
it might set the tone for the entire interview. Although when it comes to stand-up, though, because I tried doing stand-up when I was in college too.
Nice. Where were you at?
I mean, it was New York, so I did a lot of the open mics that they had around there. I was lucky enough to have done Caroline's twice,
Nice.
And when they have their open mics at like 2:30 in the morning or something like that, and I was awful at doing stand-up comedy, and I hated it. My very first time doing it, I killed. And I got all this stupid swagger in me thinking like, I got this.
How could you not though? You killed your first time doing stand-up.
I guess that's true. But then the second time I did it, I bombed. And then I tried one more time and I bombed even harder. And that was it. I was like, nope, not for me. Well, I wrote jokes for friends. That's what I would do.
But you were performing at 2:30 in the morning in New York when no one's there.
There are people there. There are definitely people there. Yeah. The sad part is when you go to an open mic night at 2:30 in the morning at a comedy club in Manhattan, I would say 80% of the people in the audience are just other bitter comics.
Yep. That sounds about right.
Yeah.
That sounds about right. And they all do this.
Yeah.
That's good.
And even if they laugh, they go like this, they go,
yeah, just like that too. That's awesome. We got a comment from Drew Schaefer. He's a comedian in Sacramento. He says, I'm a teacher turned comedian because I had the same thought. Oh, I have so much free time as a teacher. He was talking about you.
Yep.
And teachers and comics, that's all we do is have free time.
I mean, I learned from my wife that teachers have almost no downtime.
How is your wife doing with the COVID and everything? Is she's enjoying the Zoom, or what is she doing?
Well, she was lucky enough to obviously all teachers were kind of working from home. But she is a teacher at an independent study school. Okay. So really nothing really changed for her outside of location, because most of the teaching that she does was already online anyway.
Right.
So so really nothing changed for her. But
she can mute the students. That's one thing. She can mute.
Well, they didn't even meet over Zoom or anything like that. Like it was literally like, here's your work. You know, I'm emailing you the syllabus. You have the syllabus. Here's what you do, and all that stuff. Do it, and then we'll go. You know, I'll go over it and grade it, kind of a thing. I mean, it's independent study, so the kids already don't need a whole lot of one-on-one time with the teacher. So she was lucky, but the downside was now she had a house filled with kids. So that was a struggle trying to get all the work done while a 1-year-old, a 3-year-old, and an 8-year-old are all trying to vie for her attention.
That's simple, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm in here in
You're
my
just hiding in the cave right now.
Yeah, doing the Friday morning fart song.
Right. Hey, we also got Chris Laird. He says, so why are you guys called the end if you are still not at the end of the dial anymore? It should be 106.5, almost the end.
That's funny. That's good. Branding, I would imagine. I think the name The End had been around for since 1997, I think.
Okay.
So they couldn't give that up. And that whole story about why we moved from 107.9 to 106.5 is a very long and very complicated, but most of all, very boring story. So yeah,
on the podcast, you can tell us right now. I'm just kidding.
No, yeah.
So you've just always been with The End since
I moved out to Sacramento. Yeah, I moved out to Sacramento in 2007.
Okay.
So
wow.
Yeah, so I've been with The End that long. Actually, I am the person on The End that's been there the longest, which is crazy because I still feel new to Sacramento. No matter how long I've lived here,
right?
It feels like home, but I still feel new.
Right.
If that makes sense.
It does because you're not homegrown here, right?
Yeah.
I'm originally from San Jose, but I moved up 12 years ago. But you know, Sacramento is still new to me. I feel the same way.
I love this city.
I love it too.
I don't think I'll ever leave it.
Good, because no one wants you to leave because it would be the end of the end if Gavin from the Waco Call leaves. That's awesome, man. Well, dude, we also have Elia. She is a huge fan of yours, and she's just leaving these comments.
Emojis.
She sent me a text. I'm kind of jealous that you're talking to Gavin. She loves you.
Oh, that's great.
She loves what you do and everything, man. So that's awesome, man.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Yeah, dude. No, it's a huge pleasure having a heavy titan on the Myself and I podcast.
Am I a heavy titan?
Dude,
I'm heavy, but I mean,
you're a heavy hitter, dude. You're a celebrity, dude. You know, you're a big time You're
It
the
never
blue
feels
cheese.
that way. It never feels that way, and I don't think it ever should feel that way for
You
anybody.
should, and if someone's heckling you, then you say, "Do you know who you're talking to?" That's what you gotta say. You gotta say you gotta at least say that. Do you know who you're talking to? You're talking to the Gavin,
And then
not Gavin, the Gavin.
They go, "Yeah, I know who I'm talking to," and I go, "That's about right."
Or they're like, "Close your eyes. Now you know who you're talking to."
Right.
Oh man, that's awesome. So, what's your advice for upcoming radio personalities that want to break into radio?
I mean, besides those 3 steps of showing up early, being professional, and being nice, which applied literally to any job.
Right.
Besides that, I have no idea anymore. Like,
No?
I don't know what kind of advice I could possibly give somebody trying to get into radio now, because so many avenues of how people got into radio are gone. Internships don't exist anymore.
Right.
That was a huge one. Even getting hired in like promotions, I don't even know how people get hired in promotions anymore. But I mean, I would say that if you can find out how to apply for a job in radio, you just need to be dynamic. You need to be a personality, and but know how to read the room though too. You don't want to be so big that people are like, this effing kid. You know, you don't want.
Well, you want to have a good mixture and flow with all the other people on the show with you, right? I'm sure you don't want to be the biggest.
Not even on a show necessarily, because you're probably not going to be on a show. But even if you're just in a situation where you get hired in promotions, show up, be professional, be nice, but be dynamic too, and people will remember you. And then after you do it for a while, find the station that you identify with the most, talk to the program director, and say to them, I would love an opportunity to go on air. And what they'll probably say is like, okay, how about Saturday night at 3 a.m? And you say, I can't wait. That's what you should say. I have seen way too many people come along in radio that think that they are better than certain things. And you are never better than anything.
Never better at 3 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday.
Exactly.
I would do it. I'll wake everybody up at 3 o'clock in the morning. Good morning.
Yeah.
Did you ever have those late night shifts?
I did. Yeah. I actually one of the late night shifts that I did was this was even worse than being able to talk into the microphone. I would come in at 2 a.m, and from 2 to 4 I would just run a mix show, which means that there was a DJ somewhere in the world mixing, and I had to play it, and every 10 minutes I had to make sure that we had station identification play. So it was like 99.3 Kiss FM, and I was in charge of just pushing the mouse, but you couldn't automate that. So somebody literally had to be there to make sure that it worked, and then making sure that we got into commercials okay. But wow. I mean, when they offered me that job, I said, can't wait.
Dude, that's why you're the Gavin from the Wake Up Call, man. You worked your way up, man. You worked your way up a long time. And so that's amazing. That's great, dude. A lot of people don't have those work ethics anymore. So it's good that you're promoting that and pushing that. Yeah. So, hey, quick thing. Why don't you, I wanted to share this with my podcast and everyone that's watching right now. Can you tell us more about Phoebe's Fun?
Oh, sure.
Possible? Is that cool?
Yeah. So, okay. So it'll be 5 years this August. My wife and I gave birth to our daughter. My wife did, and she was stillborn. So we found out that she had died the day before, and she was 2 weeks past her due date. So she was full term, and it was a total freak incident. She died from something called a fetal maternal hemorrhage, which is very rare, especially where it spontaneously happens. And so we had her, and it was obviously a very life crushing event. And for a while, we weren't sure if we were going to be able to recover from that, but we did. And when the dust settled and we started to be able to stand on our feet again, we thought, well, we want to make sure that we offer the help to other couples that are going through this exact thing. And
great, man.
we didn't know what to do, because, you know, when you lose a child, it's done. There's nothing you can do. It's not like you can reverse time or anything. And we thought, so what could we even do? And we thought, well, our experience getting therapy, we're big supporters of therapy. We think it's not a 4-letter word. We think that the stigma around therapy is ridiculously stupid, and that people need to take care of their brain just as much as they take care of their body.
A lot of people feel like they're a failure when they go to therapy.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's a terrible outlook on therapy, especially when you go through something as traumatic as what we went through. And we found out that we had PTSD, and we found out that, you know, obviously that what we had grief trauma. So we tried getting therapy through our insurance companies, and that was a complete disaster, because insurance companies, for the most part, they only offer you like 3 or 4 sessions, and it's usually with like a family therapist that specializes in divorce or something like that. And we went to 3 of them, and none of them were equipped to handle it. In fact, if anything, they just made it worse.
Oh God.
And then one day we found a therapist that was perfect, and she was a specialist in grief trauma, and she really was our life support out of that hole. And she wasn't covered by insurance, and understandably she's expensive, as all therapy is if you pay for it out of pocket. And we thought that's what it is, that we were lucky and blessed enough that we could afford that therapy, because for people like us, you need a therapy appointment at least once a week. And you know, at $125, $175 a pop, that gets real expensive fast. And we said, that's what we're going to do. So we set up Phoebe's Fund, which is a not-for-profit charity. And people who have suffered stillborns can apply at phoebesfund.org. And
it's right here below, folks. So if you want to,
there it is. And
donate or anything.
And she and you can get a grant there, which will get you enough money for several therapy sessions. And we've had,
man, that's beautiful.
Thanks. We've had several couples have absolutely beautiful stories, and we keep in touch with everybody. And some of them have gone on to have subsequent pregnancies and successful births and beautiful children. And it's really great to see families flourish from such a dark place.
Absolutely.
And we're just glad this is our daughter's legacy.
That's great, man. That's a great way. And you have a run. Am I correct? Is that correct?
Well, we used to.
You used to. Before, when it was normal to hang out with people.
Yeah. So who knows if we'll ever have it again? But
are you going to have? Have you thought about doing like a online telethon or anything like that this year?
We thought about it, but to be perfectly honest, right now we're doing okay money wise. So I'd rather pour my energy into something else right now. Like there's another charity that really helped us out called Sharing Parents, which also helps bereaved parents who go through pregnancy loss. And their website is actually sharingparents.org. They're a not-for-profit, and they helped us. They do monthly meetings and stuff like that. So we'll probably be putting our energy into trying to help them this year, since we're doing okay.
That's great, man. Great. So
Thanks.
Make sure folks go to phoebesfund.org, donate if you can, and just, stay in. If you're going through grief, make sure you go through Phoebe's Fund, contact Gavin if you can, so make sure you do that, folks. And now we're going to move on to our next segment. Our next segment is, folks, are you ready? Emma Mikers, are you ready? It's time for some good news. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sick and tired of hearing the bad news around the world. So now every time I find a story that is nothing but good news, and the good news is, I'm going to share it. Hold on. I'm trying to learn how to stream and do this at the exact same time and juggle, but I'm trying my best. Here we go. So the good news of the day is man who grew up without a dad supports youth with Dad, How Do I Do YouTube channel. So a Bellevue, Washington man who knows what's like to grow up without a father has been part to make a difference in the lives of kids today who are in the same boat. So basically, this gentleman, Rob Kinney, is making YouTube channels for people that don't know how to do any handyman work, or for someone that doesn't have a father. He gives a wonderful dad advice to the children that need a father. So that's your good news for the day, ladies and gentlemen. And I'll have the link below. And he makes this is good stuff for me. You know, look, how to fix a running toilet, how to unclog a bath drain, how to unclog a sink, how to change a tire. Oh my goodness. So watch those good news. So that's your good news of the day, ladies and gentlemen.
I need that guy to also give me a pep talk to make me think that I am capable of handling something like that too.
Right.
I am not a handy person whatsoever.
Well, I tell you what, man, I'm a born again handyman. I was such a klutz, and I used to be known as Wreck-It Ralph for so many years. I used to break things, and then I started learning how to operate stuff, and now for my birthday, my wife, she trusts me, so she got me a chop saw. Now,
whoa!
All I do is that's it all day. I'm not building anything. I'm just dropping the chop. So. By the way, do we have another comment? No, we don't. Okay. By the way, folks, if you love this podcast, do me a favor, please donate here at Venmo, Mike Betancourt 5. Why is it 5? Because I'm the 5th and better one. That's why. But yeah, that's it. That's the show, ladies and gentlemen. So Gavin, the man, thank you so much for being on the show, my friend. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you for asking me.
Yeah, dude. And well, thanks for Mike Mechanic, because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be talking to the Gavin. So before we go, sir, we always have like a closing thing. I hope you're ready. I want you to snap your fingers. This is the closing part. There you go.
All right, I can
Get
do
ready.
that.
Salsa. This is the closing part. All right, everyone, thank Gavin. Support Phoebe's fun. Support Gavin. Support me. Support this podcast, and get ready to salsa, because it's time to go, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. Yeah.
Me, myself, and I.
Salsa. Yeah.
It's me, myself, and
One more
I. Me, myself, and I.